So voting in Mural is a lot more advanced than in Miro. And let's have a look. First of all, when you are in a voting session, you can prioritize ideas. So you have the same kind of like concept where you can create a voting session. You can basically say who can end the voting. So for example, any member or just facilitator. So Mural, and we haven't talked about this yet, Mural, or we'll talk about this in a separate segment, Mural has a concept of a facilitator. So you can say only I and other facilitator can end the voting, which is pretty good. One downside of the voting in Mural is that you cannot lock in an area of the mural. So potentially people can vote anywhere on the board. So you have to make sure that they know what we're about to vote. Once you're here, one thing that I think is really interesting is that you can see who can vote. And right now I'm the only one on the board. So let me invite some random. And so once I'm here, I now notice there are 2 people voting. And this I think is pretty excellent. Okay, both are called Enrico because they're both my accounts. Actually, you know what? Let me show you opening another browser window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an incognito edge. And so this simulates someone that has never been to that website. In theory, I guess. Accept cookies. It just gave me, this is really interesting. So this actually, it looks like when you are sharing a link and you're voting, it already gives you an animal. Usually it asks you, hey, do you want to put in your name? In this case, it didn't. So there are 3 people. I'm visiting Snail. So let's simulate. Let's stop this voting session. So anyway, 3 people can be voting. And you click, if you hit, I think Shift and click, that removes the vote. So this is a way to do that. And so now I know I have 0 votes left. I know that I know that I'm done voting, I'm the Snail. So everyone else knows that that person is done. And when you're facilitating, this is pretty useful because again, now I know that there's only one person. I can say, hey, Enrico, I noticed that you haven't started voting yet. Do you have any issues? So when you have like 5 or 6 people or more working on this, I found this being pretty powerful. So at that point, let's actually look at what happens when everyone has voted. So 3 people already voted, 0 votes left. And so what happens here is basically, I just see that everyone has voted. So let's end the voting session. I see the voting results. This is somewhat similar to what we have in Miro. There's just the list of the votes is there. And that's it, really. This is how Mural does voting. I think it's a little bit better because we can basically see who voted. And we don't see where they voted. Of course, they're both anonymous. So if I didn't really say that, but obviously as you vote, you do not know where everyone else has voted. So yeah, and look, this is the thing that I thought was funny at the beginning. Usually when you share the link with someone, and we'll probably look at that next, when you share the link of your mural with someone, you are asked to log in. But if the voting session is happening, it just gave me the visiting Snail. One final thing about the voting in Mural. So basically the pro is you can see how many people voted. The pro in the Miro voting is you can lock the area that you vote on, and you can also select what to vote on. In Mural, when you are voting, you are potentially voting on everything that is on the board. So you need to prepare your board in such a fashion that it is easy for the people that are operating not to vote on icons or other things. So in Mural, you can vote on post-its, on images, on text. And so just be aware that you cannot vote on those icons that we can add, and as well as shapes. This is actually a shape that was built from a post-it. So we had that post-it and we changed it to a shape, and now we cannot vote it. So yeah, just be aware of that. The other thing that Mural does a little bit better, I guess, is you see the list of voting in here. So maybe you can call like prioritize ideas or ideas with low impact, ideas with high impact. You can come up with names for those votings and they're easily viewable by everyone. So Miro does something similar. It's just in a more subtle position. So you have to like go to the thumbs up and then basically click on those sessions, and then you see that, and then you go back. So a little bit more subtle, not really like a deal breaker.